Hello, in this video you'll learn how to render a barcode using this sing.net library, and we'll take a look at a few different formats, although in general it is kind of similar. Also, we'll take a look at how you can display this in Blazor. This is meant for barcodes. We do have an option to also do a QR code, but it would be better to watch the previous video on this channel where we use a different library specifically meant for QR codes, and you can adjust quality of the QR code and all those different things specific to it. Here, however, is a library perfect for barcodes, and you can select all these different types, and then you can also download it as a SVG file and upload it. There aren't exactly other options in this case to generate the file, but essentially we just have some basic stuff here, and we have the generate barcode button, a bit of bootstrap styling, nothing too exciting here. And then we have the actual href, which we display. So now we need to get to that library and we need to actually display it. First, let's go to the NuGet packages. Very straightforward thing here. And let's take a look at the installed ones because it's all ready to go. The package is this zxing.net. If you type it in, there's going to be many different other options, but specifically this one with blue icon here and .net. So just remember, because there are quite a few options and it can be quite easy to get lost in those. So now we can go to generating the actual barcode, and we just have a list of formats. The formats do come from a library. They are predefined, so you should only use them. And as you can see, these are sort of, you might say, the main formats. There are others available, probably perhaps not the most usual ones, but they are available. As you can see, they basically have a good handling, and perhaps in the future we'll do a video on how you can do in .NET MAUI to read the barcodes. That's a lot more tricky, obviously, when generating them. They do need some validation for what format it is and what it will actually take, because it will throw an error. But essentially the idea is quite simple. You will need to use the barcode writer, and then you provide the type for the output. It's going to be this SVG image, which you don't really get much of a choice. You get the SVG renderer and SVG image. But that's the best way to actually use a barcode. You don't really want PNG. SVG is a lot better, although you can certainly convert that as well. But other than that, we take the barcode writer class, we add our desired format. You also must add the size, the width, and the height, because otherwise it won't be all that good. And generally you want to make it bigger, obviously, because if you're gonna print it somewhere or do something of that nature, you don't want something that's too small. It can lose some of the quality. And we set the pure barcode, essentially just to have it very clean. Now, as far as options go, if we go a bit deeper here, there are some more advanced options. These would be only very specific if you actually need, if your reader or scanner needs it specifically, but that's very rare, so you probably will never use it. And again, as far as options goes, this is quite a straightforward library. You just add your generic sort of width, height, a bit of a margin perhaps, so it doesn't get cut off or ruined or something. That's always a useful thing to do. Again, you want to make it as visible as possible. Now, after that, we just take the text, because barcode represents some kind of a text, right? Usually it's numbers, a code for something, but it could include text as well, depending on the actual format you're using. And again, this will throw an exception if you don't adhere to that specific format rules. So something to remember. And handling exceptions is not exactly all that easy, so you should probably add some validation to your actual form if you're allowing a user to insert those barcodes. Or maybe you just have a generator, so something that generates, then you don't obviously have to do that. But then we write So we establish that sort of binary output for the actual SVG file, and then we get the content. The content will be simply string. Then we can actually use the string. If we go here, it's just going to be a simple data string. So essentially, we have base64 in this case, the SVG plus XML rather, a bit different than PNGs. And again, watch the other video. It's more in depth on how we actually do these setups. But essentially, the way you display in a sort of easiest way an image in Blazor, you just have your specific data type. Well, it's PNG, it would be different for SVG. That's going to be SVG plus XML, charset UTF-8, because that's what we're using, that's what we're getting. And then we take the content and escape the data string. And that's it. You'll be able to then display this whole thing. And again, we put it in exception, and the exception will come if the input text is in a wrong format for that specific selected format right here. And with that said, we will conclude this video.